You ever see a billionaire's whole world change because of one whispered sentence from a waitress? That's exactly what happened the night Maria Garcia found the courage to stand up for everything she loved, right there in a half-empty diner on Chicago's South Side. Her hands still smelling of coffee, her apron dusted with flour, her heart breaking for the life she was about to lose. See, Maria's life wasn't about luxury or comfort. At 28, she spent every waking moment on a tightrope, juggling double shifts at Maple Street Diner just to pay for her mother's chemo and the rent on their crumbling apartment, and praying that this week's tips would stretch far enough to keep the lights on and food in the fridge. Her whole world was her mom, Elena, fighting stage 4 cancer, and that old diner, worn booths, chipped mugs, regulars whose lives were as weather-beaten as the linoleum floors. She didn't have time for hope. That was a luxury for people who didn't fall asleep counting pills or sorting bills by which was least overdue. Her mother was the heart of their family once. Her laugh, her songs, teaching Maria to roll tamales in that tiny kitchen. But now, 2 years into her diagnosis, Elena was a shadow, tethered to an oxygen tank, her voice barely a whisper some nights. Maria would read to her until late, trying to hold back the dark. Through it all, the Maple Street Diner was her one anchor. Jenkins, the Vietnam vet who tipped in quarters and stories. Sarah, a single mom with twins who drew crayon pictures on the placemats every Sunday. George, the gruff owner who'd give Maria an extra $20 when he saw worry in her eyes. It wasn't just a place, it was a patchwork of struggling, stubborn people refusing to give up. And Maria was their steady hand, never complaining, always remembering who needed what, hiding her exhaustion behind a practiced smile and a braid that never quite stayed neat. But George was running out of miracles to keep the lights on. You could see it in his hunched shoulders, the way he'd sit up late over the books, rubbing at the scar on his knee from a car crash decades back. He'd lost his wife Clara 5 years ago, but kept her memory alive by pouring every ounce of fight into that diner. Meanwhile, the neighborhood around them was changing fast, and not for the better. Enter Ethan Davenport. 42, worth more than some small countries, famous for turning blocks like Maple Street into luxury condos and urban lifestyle centers. Suits that cost more than Maria made in a month, eyes that missed nothing, hands that never had to work for their calluses. He'd been in the diner a few times, always alone, left big tips, but Maria could feel the chill off him. To him, this place was just another investment, another line in a spreadsheet. Oh, it's a freezing Tuesday in February, and Maria's cleaning up late, thinking about her mom's latest hospital bill, a $12,000 mountain she's no idea how to climb, when she hears voices in the back booth. George and Ethan, deep in it. Maria can't help but catch the words, deals locked. 15 million for the block. Condos, retail, break ground by fall. George's voice is tight. He's fighting for the neighborhood, for all the little businesses that can't survive a buyout. But Ethan just shrugs it off. Progress, payouts, inevitable. Maria freezes, rag in hand, pulse pounding. She wants to disappear, but instead something in her snaps. Instead of running, she walks straight to that booth, knees shaking, voice low but steady, and tells Ethan, "Don't sign this." Her voice isn't loud, but it's sharp enough to cut the silence. She looks him right in the eyes and tells him what Maple Street really means, that the diner is her mother's lifeline, that Sarah's kids find safety here, that Jenkins's stories keep the past alive. If you tear it down, she says, you're tearing out our hearts. She expects to get fired on the spot. Instead, Ethan just stands up, nods once, and walks out, leaving the contract unsigned. That night, Maria barely sleeps, afraid she's cost George everything, terrified that Ethan will call on the bulldozers anyway. Next morning, George finds her in the kitchen, voice rough but gentle, says, "You got guts, kid. I don't know if it'll change a damn thing, but I'm proud of you." The day drags on, Maria trying not to let hope flicker. Lena, her best friend and the diner's part-time cook, gives her hell for holding back. "You stood up to a billionaire, chica. You can handle anything. Even Sarah notices, asking if she's okay. Right after her shift, a black SUV rolls up. Ethan's assistant walks in, all business, handing Maria a card. Mr. Davenport requests your presence at his office, 3 p.m. today. Maria, heart pounding, borrows Lena's only nice dress and heads downtown, feeling like a fish on the wrong side of the glass. Ethan's office is steel and marble, a world away from the smell of burnt coffee and old vinyl. He doesn't waste time, sit. He asks why she spoke up, why she'd risk everything for a place that most people would call a lost cause. Maria's answer is simple. Because the diner is home, because it's the only place that keeps her mom fighting, because no one else would. Ethan listens, really listens, for the first time. Then, unexpected twist, he offers her a job, program coordinator at his new foundation, running community projects, and a full ride to business school, Northwestern or DePaul, her choice. Maria's floored. This is a lifeline, but it means leaving everything she's ever known. She hesitates. I'm just a waitress. I don't belong in your world. Ethan just laughs, says, you belong anywhere you choose. You've got more guts than half my board. Maria goes home to her mother, lays it all out. Elena, frail but fierce, tells her, this is your chance to fly. Don't let fear hold you back. Lena pushes her too, and even George tells her, you're meant for more than this, kid. We'll hold the fort. The next morning, Ethan calls Maria back to the office. This time, it's packed with suits and skepticism. Ethan announces the Maple Street deal is dead, and instead, he's launching the Davenport Community Trust. Maria's running it, starting with saving Maple Street. The room falls silent, then explodes. Maria can't believe it, but she says yes, vowing to fight for every block like hers. The work is hard, grants, outreach, long nights in the hospital by her mother's side, business school after hours. Maria fumbles, fails, but learns fast. She helps Rosa's bookstore launch online sales, gets Jimmy new chairs for his barber shop, funds repairs for the diner's roof. The foundation's work saves jobs, gives hope, brings new life to the block. The neon comes back on. Kids laugh in the streets, and Maria, for the first time, feels she's part of something bigger. Even Ethan starts to change. Late nights in the office, confiding that he grew up the son of a line cook and a janitor, that he left places like Maple Street behind and forgot what mattered. Now, Maria is teaching him to see people, not just profit. She pushes for national expansion, bringing the foundation's model to Memphis, Oakland, Milwaukee, hundreds of neighborhoods that need a spark. When a slick developer tries to swoop in and take Maple Street again, Maria rallies the community, outmaneuvers him, and stands her ground. Her journey brings her all the way to D.C., testifying before Congress, calling for urban renewal that centers real people, not profits. Her story goes viral, and soon, the foundation secures federal grants, spreading its impact nationwide. On the night of the Maple Street Community Center's grand opening, Maria stands on stage, looking out over a crowd of families, old friends, her mom, now in remission, smiling with pride. Ethan takes the mic, admitting Maria taught him purpose, and that one waitress's courage changed his legacy. As the music spills out into the street, Maria realizes she's not just a waitress anymore. She's a leader, a dreamer, the spark that turned a whisper into a movement. And as she sits at the counter with her mom, watching Maple Street come alive, she knows her fight is just beginning. Because for every Maria, there are 1,000 more ready to speak up. So tell me, if you were in her shoes, would you risk everything for your block, your people? Drop your story in the comments. Let's keep this fight alive, because every voice matters, and together, we can turn even the smallest whisper into a roar.